Okay, so it's 7:30, and so it's like a later start. So now I'm torn between, do I go for a walk first before it gets too hot? So I'm gonna do this and then hurry up and go for a walk. So and it's basically just what I keep saying. It's what I keep saying and keep saying is happening. Is so yesterday I was busy. I wasn't seeing a lot. I was doing other stuff. And but Amy had sent me pretty early about the on Donald, and so I had seen it earlier, and so I knew, well, okay, this is, shenanigans. This is, they're trying to me it is, for one thing, all the people who hate him and judge him, this is another opportunity for them to gain empathy. And look how far it has to go. Like, what is he doing? Look how far it has to go. That it is, attempt on his life. And there's still people. I've seen quite a menagerie of videos, and it is almost every single one is talking about this. So it was just one after another, and then you keep seeing the same clip out one after another, and then you have all these people talking about what they think. So that's what I'm gonna do. And so there's some, it was like, oh, it's a psyop, all right, but it's Donald doing it to get sympathy so that he wins, because this is all election shenanigans. And so that's their perspective, in which they're sharing it, so that will help more people to gain some type of perspective. And so that is, it's a target perspective. So it at least gets people to wake up and be thinking, like, something weird's going on here. This is weird. And then, of course, they're showing all sorts of weird stuff at the whole scene. And so there's people breaking down the scene and saying all sorts of stuff about that. There's people who totally believe it. Like, there's all sorts of things out there. So these conversations are part of the awakening. They're part of getting everybody to take notice. Look over here, and make it dramatic, so that, it creates conversation. It creates outlook. It creates opinions. It brings us in together. And us talking about these things brings us into a collective consciousness. So we are demonstrating this ability to come together on, what is that? It's like in the worst of situations, in chaos and stuff, and that we are able to come together because that is what this movement through the universe is. Like, there was movement, and it was dark and stagnant at a point, and then we are taking it and moving it again. And so this movement that's the impact that we're all getting. And that's why it's important for the people to go in and pay attention to what's happening, because it promotes you to consider other options or opportunity, other ways of seeing things. And it is so much about this setting your moral compass, about, like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. How could I do that? And it's so crazy too, because I think a lot of people, like, they say, like, oh, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do that, but they'll have a flash of like something that they did kind of similar, and then it's like, oh my God. And that's the part of us. It's not like you that little flash comes to bring you back into humbleness, so that you can, it's the breakdown of judgment, so that we can all look at this like, oh, therefore, what is that saying? I said a couple weeks ago, therefore go I, therefore, I think it's something out of the Bible too. It's something about, you know, it could have just as easily happened to me. And, you know, I've done the same stupid shit. Something bad could happen to me. That definitely has, you know, been things to me through my healing, as being like, oh my gosh, the realization of the stupid ass shit that he is such a clothes thief, dude. I ordered him some toys, but they're not gonna be here till tomorrow. I should truck out my dude. I don't really want him to stay out of my closet room too. But I think he's bored. But he's so freaking cute. Yesterday we went to the neighbors and he made best friends with their little chihuahua. No, Maxie, come on. He was, they were running and chasing each other. It was so cute. And he was having so much fun. He is so sweet. He just doesn't get worked up or anything. But he's more of his personality is coming out. He's a lot more playful. But I really think a lot of his cough is nerves. Because he can be just completely fine, and then you can get up and start doing something, and he'll start coughing like, blah, blah, blah. You see that little, and look at this old man face. Look at the camera. Look at that face. Oh, he's so cute. So anyways, it is, I really, really like him. He's such a good fit. God, the universe, when it brings stuff, well, I know, you know, it brought Jack, and that's why I was like, what the hell? But that was a lesson. That was to get me to appreciate this little fella, I think. And, so anyways, but lessons come to you the same, like everything comes to you. You just got to be prepared to look at it in different ways. You know, not everything is your solution. Not everything is your answer. Sometimes it's your preparation. So it's lessons that you need to learn or whatever in order to get you to where it is that you are going. And, okay, that's all. You sit down. I'm busy working. He's like, but I want more of that. Okay, dude. And he's got these long-ass arms and legs. And it's so funny. He goes all bipedal. He gets up, starts walking, and uses his long old arms to pull things down. It's so funny. No, sir. Sit down. Have manners. And so, now he's all worked up. So, anyways, you got to look and pay attention to the stuff going on and really think about it. Like, in different perspectives. Don't get caught up in fear. Like, these people are all caught up in fear and thinking this guy's a dictator and he's going to take over the world and all the stuff that they promote on the media while they keep their person. It's so absurd. It's so crazy as this is how it's going to affect the people when they see that, because that's the part that they're not seeing. And so many of us have already seen. But so many people, then they start getting caught up in like, in other fears instead of realizing that this is awakening. I'm seeing people just now getting to the part where, oh, do you see all these NPCs? It's like, oh my God, see what I mean? Just like as people open, it's like this same kind of thing every time. And then you'll have the people who just woke up, I've been trying to tell so-and-so and they won't listen. Like, everybody does the same stuff. And, but at this stage of the game, I can see a lot more clearly about what, you know, is happening. It's so clear to me. It's crazy. I can just see it so clearly. But then it's kind of hard to explain. And so I don't know if I explain it exactly right. But so so then an outrageous thing like this happens and you got all these people who are so hateful towards him. Well, when something like that, a tragedy happens or something, but they already had it where, what did you get? That is my phone case. Oh my God. My brand new phone case. Ah, that's a test. God damn it. Son of a bitch. How did he even get that? Ah. So maybe he's more puppyish than I thought. He looks like a little old man, but he's puppy. Well, no, I'll have to get a new phone case, I guess. So, what is that? Another 30 bucks. Because you gotta get this thing, and you gotta get this thing. I don't even know if I really need this thing, because my phone, well, oh yeah, because when my car gets back and that thing is fixed, then it should hook back into the car, I think. because my phone wouldn't hook into the car for a while. So, God, that's a bummer. It's crazy how fast things happen like that, too. He's just ripping that thing apart, then he goes over the door and coughs, and all of a sudden he jumps up on the couch and he's already eating it. It's like, dude, how did you do that so fast? So, anyways, I've seen people doing all these videos of coming home from work and everything is tore up at their house, and you know, and then people start saying stuff, well, you should do this with your dogs, you should do that, and they're like, yeah, well, that's what I did. They broke out. And so anyways, it's just chaos. There's going to be things that are, you know, going to go amiss. Can't get all worked up about it and cry about it. You gotta just let it go. Whoa. This is intense. This is intense already. Hold on. Wait, come on. I'm busy. Ugh. So, and I really liked that phone case, and I got compliments on it. I can just get the same one again. Just money. I'll just have to wait till I get paid again. Not get paid this one. I gotta pay more on the car and then go use it for gas. But the other one, unless shit goes down, I mean, anything could go down. Like, they've got all these things of all these dates that are supposed to happen. There's these astrology people who were saying, I told you something big was gonna happen, and then DJT got. And there's some guy who seems a religious guy, and he said the whole prediction of what was going to happen ahead of time. And I don't know how far ahead, but so he's showing that video. He already predicted it, where and what was going to happen, to the point where it was like, did they, like, it's kind of strange. And so he said that, so now he's done another video. I told you guys that this was about to go down, even to every single thing I said. And but he goes off on this whole Jesus thing, and so there's a lot of those people, like, this is, you know, a whole Jesus thing going. And I just got a flash of something, and I was like, when the hell did that happen? Did I dream it? So I'm having a whole side conversation in my head. Oh my God, excuse me, I'm busy doing something. So, man, 12 minutes, damn. A long damn 12 minutes. So, I'm not going to make it a whole hour. But you can see what I'm talking about is, so these incidences that occur, they are to impact us in a way to get us to become more empathetic, to become more compassionate, to set our moral compass as this is right or this is wrong. And so when people go against that, that's the part when everything is revealed that's going to be the hardest for them, because they have to see themselves and question themselves. Like, some people are going to look at themselves like, fuck, I'm evil. What in the hell are... Oh, he's gotten behind the couch. Lip smacker. So anyways, this is intense. I'm having, all even yesterday, I was having such a weird day where it was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, even in the evening last night, like, I was moving my hand and my hand was disappearing. I was like, am I just glitching? Like, what the hell is going to go on? What is happening here? And then I was, and you know, one thing I thought is kind of strange is, like, when you say, would you get out of that? No, sir. No. He's getting way more comfortable. Down to earth. When you say someone's down to earth, but you would think, like, well, down to earth, that's more, you know, they're more grounded, they're more, you know, what you think. Oh my God, no, sir. Oh, damn. Jesus Christ. This is just weird. The Archons, I got him. Max. What the hell? And so, this is so weird. So anyways, yeah, but it's really weird because it's really the people who are more earthbound, it's like spirits, are not not down to earth at all. They are more artificial, superficial, shallow. And so all these earthlings, they're all, oh my fucking God, they're all superficial, shallow, and stuff like that. And then you have, it's just both of them doing chaos at the same time. Oh, now Stella's gonna get up to go do a little humping. She gets nowhere near him. She just does it in the air and she sniffs him. Like, it's kind of like, we don't need to see that. And so anyways, the oh, this day, maybe the energy has changed. I told you we were turning into a cartoon world. It's a cartoon world. Oh my God, oh Muggsy over here. I swear to God, I gotta change his name to Muggsy. He doesn't like mug and look like. It's so funny in those eyes. So anyways, the stuff that is going on is it got a lot of people freaked out, you know, like there's people who really think, oh, they're really gonna kill him and he's not gonna get in there and save us. See, that has to happen. They have to go through that part. But then you have the Anon people, and I'm way more in alignment with them. Like, this is all bullshit. This is all a psyop. This is all a game. But they look at it as a different thing. Like, I look at it as this is all about the awakening. This is all about helping humanity become more aware of itself so it can take itself up to another level. What the hell does he got now? So we rise up to another level, and it's like the universe is assisting us by giving all of these opportunities, but it's each individual soul, so he has to do what it takes. That's why, you know, it's a curiosity to watch. Some other ones that are very locked into their position is how it plays out. And that is where I'm like, man, is a lot of these people just going to do themselves in? Is it going to be just like this mass amount because they're going to be so ashamed of their ignorance and their attitude? Because it's going to be hard to face, very hard to face. And it's coming in so fast. And I personally think that they are going to pin it on Joe, HRC, Brog. They're going to be like, oh, this was a hit that was paid for by these people. And that's going to be kind of like the thing of like, to start the arrest, because something's got to start it. And when they're going in that direction, then it's like, well, they're not going to waste it. Surely. I mean, I know it's going to be to expose more things, to expose all different things. It could be judges, senators, it could be the police force in Pennsylvania. Like, everything that happens is all of this exposing. They can even have, like, they could pull in a dirty cop who they know is doing some shit and give them a job that is really all to close in on them, to expose them. So that's the double agent thing. And there are some people who are not going to see it coming. People like who are in certain positions. I think they've already got a lot of people. I think they did it like on FBI, on judges, like on all these different people. Like take a corrupt case before a judge, say the person who's bringing it, they've done it a lot of times, but then they bring it before the judge, because there's that one judge who got caught taking all that money from that rich family so that their kid didn't go to jail for DWI. There's all that stuff has been going on, all these scratch your back and underpay, you know, or pay under the table kind of things. It's all just been built on corruption, you know. While we've got one group going to church, just this whole thing is just so strange of a reality. But we've all been in our own realities. That's the thing. We haven't been in one giant mass reality. We've lived in a mass habitat, but we weren't all having the same perspectives. We're bringing our perspectives in and focusing on stuff. Some people are hyper-focusing on things. That's why I said that, like, the ability to zoom in and zoom out. If you start getting too overwhelmed or too in it, where it's like, oh, every second I gotta watch what's happening now. Then you need to zoom out. You need to be like, man, I'm way too invested. I gotta fucking get myself together because this isn't real. And this is all a show to wake people up, to get people to, I was on the prowl back there again. And I have to take my phone case off to put the phone in this thing because it won't hold it. That's the only reason my case was off. Son of a bitch. Oh. This kind of stuff always happens with dogs. So anyways, I just gotten this really expensive pair of boots and when I had Lucy. And I had went somewhere, I think, and came home and she had chewed my boot. I was like, oh my God. So I've had so many things chewed up by dogs. But it's a bummer because that was new. So, anyways, let me think. So that's what I think they're going to do, is that this is all to kind of expose how criminal these other people are, that they'll fucking kill, they'll take out this person. And why are they so desperate to take him out? Because then a lot of information can unfold from these different situations, and everything is about this unfolding the truth, giving us the information that we need to move us out of this mind trap that has held us in this vibratory position. I think sometimes the weird stuff that keeps happening in my body, I keep thinking it's got to be the vibration and stuff, like my vibration, the area's vibration and stuff. It's weird. Sometimes you feel like you're glitching. Sometimes you feel like you're not here. Sometimes it's just strange. Sometimes I feel like I'm changing sizes. It's just weird. And yesterday, my neighbor, I was hanging out with her over at her house. I took the dogs over there, and so we're sitting over there chatting, and she's newly split, and so we're having like a goss sesh about relationships and breaking up and what we've gone through and stuff like that. And it's so funny because I think it's very purging, personally, to talk about your story and let it go. I think that those talk groups are beneficial, not just a counselor sitting there listening to you, but peers talking about like what they've gone through, and like we all go on to this certain level of understanding of a common experience. We come in together, and talk about like, oh my gosh, yeah, I went through that, and different things, that we've all gone through, and then give people support who are going through it, and then some people need to know, like, that there's nothing wrong with them. Like, there's a lot of different things, and so when you get a peer group, you get a lot more information than just going and sitting to a counselor. You get feedback, and you get a purge out stuff. You get a release and talk about things. And it's important to get to the point of being able to talk openly about your story. Your story is your story. You got to own it. And, we all do things that we're ashamed of, or we wish we did different, or we can't believe we were so stupid. We all have those things. And that is something that, that should help you to humble yourself, to get out of ego, because when we're up in ego in this hierarchy they created for us, that is where so much judgment is created. Like, always thinking, oh, well, they're an idiot, they're stupid, they shouldn't do that, they shouldn't do this, but they're just stupid waste of space and stuff. Like, those kind of attitudes, that's what we need to change in order to build a community where we all feel complete, we all feel connected, we all feel safe. So we have to build these communities, and then communities also need to be built on, I really like that tribal mentality of, if it's not good for everybody, then it's not good for anybody. Like, we all have to be in agreement of what is good for the town or the community, or the, whatever group that people end up, because some groups, it won't all be just like, towns, and it's going to be, everything will be smaller. I don't think we're going to have any of these mega city things anymore, because there's no reason. People are going to want to live out more towards nature than live in concrete. And so a lot of those big major cities are going to be underwater. Like, I think Houston is on its way out. But I don't know, because some of these things can take years and years and years. But all of these situations happening are this, it's like the universe nudging you to reevaluate where you're living, take notice, pay attention. It's storm after storm, and the water's rising, and it's time to move inland. And then the doomsday map tells us for sure it's time to move inland. And then we got all these earthquakes going, or, we got a lot of stuff going, a lot of stuff changing. In these big cities, they'll be underwater for the most part, I think. And then there will be places, though, where it will be like, say, communes, like, like just like tribes, like how it was. We'll go back kind of to that natural way of existing. And the universe, like as we heal and we come into ourselves and connect into our whole selves, we will be pulled more into our tribes, into our vibratory matches. So the people who meet our vibes will gravitate towards each other. And then communities will be built. And so there will be like, there'll be places that'll be like communes. There'll be places that'll be like little villages. There'll be places that'll be like a giant trailer park, like there's some pretty elaborate trailer parks where they're like its own little town. And so, or mini house one or something. There'll be all sorts of different kinds of things. It's not going to be just one set way of living. It's going to be very different. It's going to be a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. But in each community, because we're not going to have a government like what we have, each community will have to build their own way of doing things, but there's going to be limitations, because that's what these peace treaties and the abundance is going to be about. So we don't go back into these towns and villages, and they're arguing and fighting, and then their leaders decide, well, we're going to take that one over, they're stupid. And because the leaders are always, they've always been these infiltrates who have been guiding us and working us up and getting us angry and mad, so we do their work for them. And all they want to do is just watch the show. That's why we're now, when we can get in our heads, we can sit back and watch the show, because that's what they do. And so, and the show is intense, but think about like when some movies and stuff you go watch, it's very stressful. And this one is like a live action. It's like a live action movie that we are in, that we're running with them. The bombs are falling, we're going to. So it's like we get to experience it, but it's live action. It's not, you're not, this isn't your real life. This is a game. It's just like the same as you're in a video game and you're running from all this stuff happening. But that's the cool part, is because before in the video game, when something would happen to us, we'd think, well, we died, and we would die. And that was a part of our thing, of our learning and stuff. But now we will see, it'll be more like cartoonish. It'll be like, you get hurt, and then you just can pop back up and keep on going. And it's going to be, that is us knowing that nothing can hurt us. That's why. It's when you start, and I swear to God, it has with this detaching yourself from flesh and blood. Flesh and blood, the concept is, it's too much. It binds you. It holds you back. It focuses you. You're focused on, well, basically, most people are focused on their ailments. I mean, it would be different, if you were focused on your health. I think that's why a part of the thing is mind, body, spirit. So you do start changing your focus. And I think it's important when you start really considering what you consume is how the same thing as how you would feed another machine, like your car. You couldn't put too much gas in it. What would happen? It doesn't even have storage space. So we've got to treat ourselves like that. Like, we only need the energy that we need, and that stop overfilling. And so that is a part of what people have to come into terms with themselves, is because it's all internal. It's not like there's one set recipe and you can give it and everybody can do it. No, you have to go inside and see what are your blockages. How do you look at things? Why do you look at it this way? Why do you look at it that way? And then you got to look at the things, well, you want to go towards healthier living. You want to go towards a healthier lifestyle. You want to go towards being more vulnerable and open with yourself, not being so guarded. And I'll tell you one thing is anybody who's got anger issues, these anger issues are huge. And, you know, especially when you're talking about broken relationships and stuff, and you talk about people and their anger and stuff. And the thing is with anger is it's pain that you're hiding from. You got to heal your pain. Like, and you can see how anger, you're part of the problem. So your pain just goes out and ripples out into everybody else's life, creating more pain. So how would you balance that karmic debt? Because you are rippling, you're not dealing with yourself. So you are putting your energy out, hurting others to make yourself feel better or calmer. So you go towards this raging explosiveness so that you can calm your level down, but then you cause a ripple out of causing so much, it can create anxiety, fear, so much tension, sadness, a lot of stuff. And so that is like a karmic debt. That's the kind of stuff like when people go to their near death, or when they have their near death experience, and then they go to their life review. That's the kind of, no, not that. That is, this is the kind of stuff you learn when you read those kinds of things. But when the people go to their life review and they see themselves do those kinds of things, they see themselves portrayed as, well, they portray themselves as an impulsive, angry person who doesn't deal with their shit. And they see themselves and they could, you know, feel like, oh, well, that's, you know, how they feel. But then in the life review, you experience it from the other people. I think you see it your way first. It probably depends on your guides and what your level. I don't think it's just one set thing, but because you definitely see everything through everybody else's eyes. And you experience everything through the people, how you affected them. So you don't just see how you looked at things, you see how you affected the people. That is the motivation, I feel, that gets the people who pass to be so attached, why they linger, why they stay around, because they want to change things, why they get birthed back in and stuff, because they want to change those things, because they don't see anything, they only see how they feel until you go to the life review, and then you experience how you make other people feel. And then that is what I'm talking about, this karmic debt, this association of the ripple out of what you do. And so you go and say you got anger issues and you cause chaos all the time, and you know your kids are little, and then they grow up, and then you see how it has affected them through their life. And say you've died, and you went to your life review and you saw, and then your kids go on and then they start marrying people like you, and or they start behaving like you. And so that's the kinds of things where the people who are trying to put things right, so the people who have passed, who have created this ripple effect, when they are trying to put it right, why they come back in or work around you, whisper in your ear to try and get you to see things different, or look at things different, or show you things different. And it's but it's not that simple. And so that is where you can get bound into this vibration or frequency, because you have no other way to put things back into balance but to do it here. And then you can see, like, if it goes generation, and that keeps rippling out, like, you can see why our ancestry, why we're all so linked together. We are the ripple of their experience. And so, you know, it's like, when you break it down, it's like, well, who the hell am I? You're a product of all other experiences. So that's, you know, the connection to us all. We are all the experiences. And we aren't, to form who you are out of your experiences. You know, it's like this, it's why this like world exists, so that we can understand ourselves. But then there's also this growth that happens where it's not just a one look and see yourself. You see yourself change and grow. And then the more that you become aware and stuff, the more that you can control and guide the direction that you're going. So it's, it all like goes together. But you can see what I'm talking about with this links, how we are all the carriers of the pain in the beginning, but we all come in and out of these different lives. Like, we're all doing this. It's not just like this is just something that's happening to us. No, we all do this. We do it too. And yeah, it's kind of wild, because you could be like living in this situation. Your higher self, don't forget, is, you know, your contact person, but that contact person can make contact with other people. So your higher self can be communicating with other people who are a part of your experience. So that's kind of trippy. Really, like this game is very elaborate. This game is very, I mean, when you really get into it as a game and stuff, like, yeah, we're in a pretty scary one right now, but it's really pretty fun. It's pretty fun to try and maneuver it and try and understand it. And one thing I've also noticed is I feel very much like I'm in the moment, like very in the moment. And that is a hard thing to do. Like, pay attention of how hard that is to do. To stay in the moment, feel your experience, and not be jumping ahead, jumping back, or anything, and to just really be there. It's a training thing. I think it takes a lot to keep pulling yourself into the now moment. Deal with this moment. What do you do with this moment? Not what do you hope is going to be in the next moment, or what are you sad about that was in the last one, but how do you experience this one? And so I think that is an important thing to be doing at this time too, is really try and find yourself in the moment. I know there's just like a peacefulness to it. It's just like it's like shutting down all your anxiety of what's going to happen next, and being able to just experience what's happening now. But you know, what's happening now is a lot of drama and stuff. And all the drama is to wake people up. That's all I can see. Like, this stuff is not something that we really need to freak out about. Like, this is all this exposing so that they can show us who the bad guys are. And so that we can let go of the story, so that because right now it's very much set on how they've got people thinking this guy's the bad guy, this guy's good. Like, so many people think, oh, they're all bad guys and all this stuff. It's like, there's definitely two sides, and there's a side that wants to control us, and then there's a side that just wants, you know, nobody needs to be controlled. Nobody, like, why do you even want to waste your fucking time trying to control somebody else? Well, these people, you know, they don't ever die. So, and they are, like, I'm seeing other people now talking about the conscious stealing, and that they've been doing it for a long time. I think even Sloan, somebody shared a video of her saying something about they've been stealing consciousness for a long time. That's what I've been saying. They've been doing this stuff for a long time, and them just coming out and showing us. But the thing is, it's not quite obvious to people who don't know. Like the maid, that's what it is, a stealing machine. And when you understand about life and death and stuff like that, about the destiny and your role and your point of being here and stuff, then you know you can't just take yourself out of the game anytime you want. And especially being a nurse, you know, I worked with people who tried to take themselves out of the game, and it doesn't work. You can blow your fucking brains all over the place. And if it's not your time to go, it's your experience to come here and heal from that, then that's what you're going to do. And that goes on all the time. There's a guy who thought he was taking the surefire way down with jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he lived. And so you can't, it's not a set thing. What is set is what you're going to do and what you're there to experience. But yeah, they can't, you can't make somebody die. You can't make it. So that's why I was like, they can't, that we would have people coming out of that machine that didn't work. But since it just so happens to work, it's not what they're doing. They're just taking the consciousness. I mean, and they are probably discarding the bodies, you know, giving it back to the families or some, because I'm sure they've done this on like homeless people and stuff like that, people that they think are discarded, is take them. And then, I mean, there's some, it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, we found a freezer full of bodies, and that the bodies were like the consciousness that they stole, and they're keeping their bodies on ice. And you know, maybe some people will get put back into their bodies. They'll thaw them out and put them back in. But I would bet that there's some. But then I'm sure that there's some that they've just. But they also have a manipulation as well, though, with the people who are taking that choice. Like, oh yeah, because this one, and this is all moral compass shit, man. Because this one just happened in the maid in Sweden. A guy was cheating on his wife, and she got depressed or something. He divorced her or something, and they thought, well, okay, yeah, we'll do you in for that. Yeah, that's a hard thing to get over. People, like, you don't jump time to go through your shit to get over it, because that's how you grow. It's like all these people jump ship. Oh God, it's hard. I'm gonna jump ship. This is way too hard. I can't do it. It's like, if you can't challenge yourself, like I know it. Like, I've been going through shit since I was a kid, and I was very whiny at certain times. It's like, fucking hell, do I ever get any goddamn peace on earth? And it can be very frustration. You can feel very victimized by the universe and stuff. So, you know, I get it. But you got to work through it. You really got to see the purpose and the point of what all the things that are going on. And so it's, you know, it's just part of the development of humanity. Just, I'm telling you, look at it like in the micro macro. Look at it like from the time that we get babies, and as they grow, it's all a development. But that's the same thing in this game for our souls, is this development. And so we are all developing towards this other thing. This other thing is something that has more control. And so the density of this concept of flesh and blood, like when you sit there and you keep thinking, well, I could change my arms into fins all of a sudden if I wanted to, flippers. And in cartoon world, when you have let go of this concept of flesh and blood, and you can see like you're a shapeshifter, because we're all shapeshifters. Like, we can change if we want to change. And that is, I think, a part of like why you even start loving yourself, why you start become better. Like, everything becomes better on you. It's because you are loving yourself. When you hate yourself, you just turn yourself, you know, and when people get sicker and look sicker and stuff, but when you love yourself, then it goes in the other direction. So you're like shifting yourself just by loving yourself. But then once we get more away from this, you know, flesh and blood, and that is such a huge anchor. It's like the padded walls in the prison, man. It's like it really bumpers you out from being able to leave the cell, you know? So the more that you can really think about, like, you know, flesh and blood doesn't exist. It's only an illusion, because it's just at a frequency. So you change the frequency, and that changes. And that's why it has something to do with us being able to learn the abilities and develop ourselves to be able to change our own frequency. And we can shapeshift. We can turn into different things if we wanted to. But I don't think that we're all going to go around shapeshifting all the time. But I think everybody's going to become like their optimal, healthy version of themselves. Everybody's going to pull themselves into this, like, their best version. And so, and another thing too, is going to be lots of adults, because old people, that we're not going to have old people anymore. It will be, and then it will be younger people will be growing into maturity at a lot different kind of rate. And so, and people are not going to be having kids so willy-nilly, just like people think like, oh, well, I feel sad, I'm going to go get a dog, or I'm going to go get a kid, or I'm going to go cut my hair. So people are going to kind of change that. Like, that's something that's really coming to the surface with the girls. All these women with all these hair crises, like so many. I just wanted to change. I just wanted to change my hair. See, you don't find real change just by going and cutting your hair off. So that's the superficial, shallow side of our existence. So, and going and getting a dog, or going and getting having a kid, is only going to add to your tension. It's not going to make you happier. But so many people go do that because they think that's going to make them happier, that's going to make them feel better. But really, it activates more of what is inside of you that does nothing left to give. And so that creates more anger and tension. And I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we got so many people that are doing in their own kids and shit. So, and their own animals, like the cruelty that is going on, that is all coming to surface. Well, this is going to impact humanity. This is going to be what's going to make some huge changes. People are going to stop going and having kids to fulfill them and stop with this mad scientist shit with the pets. And so it's going to go a lot more into it's like a thoughtful, more connected society with better priorities, better standards. And so, but all these things are what it is that teaches us to go in that direction, because of all of the things that we go through in this period, all the things that we witness, that we see, that impact us. So those things create these changes in humanity of why we start doing things differently. But I definitely see it as less kids. Like, it's not going to be just like tons and tons of kids. Like, we're going to go through this period of time right now where there's lots of babies being born, lots of pregnancies and stuff. But those are bringing in these new kids that are a part of it. And it seems that this is going to take a while to do. So, it's not like this is all going to be done in a year or two. It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to take a little while, though. So, and I don't know how long. I mean, it can be some communities, some people will go and start building their communities, and their communities will be thriving, and there'll be other ones just getting started. So it's going to be at all different paces. But what was I going to say? Oh, but it's like, once all these kids start becoming like adolescents or something, there's going to be a switch where like all these kids start growing up, but the people who keep having kids are going to be a lot more thoughtful about it. Like, sex is going to become more sacred, parenting is going to become more sacred, birthing is going to become, the whole process is going to be have a lot more value to people. So it's going to be just like, pop out another one, pop out another one. Now, how are we going to feed them? What do you know? And I'm seeing that so much too with the people who are doing the dog rescuing. They just keep taking another, and then ones just start showing up. But then they get overwhelmed and they have to keep going outside of themselves to get help. And so that's where you got to see, like, I'm overdoing myself. I'm taking too much on. I'm having to go and ask other people to help me. That is moving me out of independence and into dependence. And that is a big thing that's going on right now too in our society, that you can see so many people asking for help, but that is a part of their process, that they've got to get to independence. Like, oh, I'll figure this out, I'll do it. Like, some of these ones that are taking in all these animals, it's like, just plant a garden, start, like, my dogs eat real food. Plant in food and grow the food, and then cook them the food. Just cook them vegetables and stuff. Like, they're gonna probably have to go in that direction anyways, is I think we're gonna move out of this meat eating thing. I keep seeing these videos of like cows just out having fun and being real and stuff, and it's like, I mean, how vicious of us to take these animals, these completely like, not docile, calm, that's not the word I'm looking for, but just mellow animal, and then decide, well, it probably tastes good, let's slaughter them up and see. You know, it was one thing when people were more primitive and they didn't, you know, there wasn't stores and stuff. They didn't know. They had to go out and catch something to eat. If they got hungry, they had to go out, like, catch a rabbit, go get a buffalo. You know, they had to go out and do something like that and cook it and eat it. And so that was like a part of man. But then this consumption part of us, instead of going in a direction, but they took us in this direction, but we're going to take ourselves out of the direction they took us. So we'll go more towards what's right for us, what's healthy for us, because they've taken us into a thing to make it not be healthy for us, to make everybody be overweight and sick. And so they wanted it to be in that direction because they benefit from that. And that is where each individual has to wake up for themselves and see, like, how to take care of themselves. That's why we're going to go into this part where it is like everybody's at their prime. That's what it's going to be more like. The human race is going to be like kind of like prime adults. I keep seeing, like, where they would show us, like, these pictures and stuff, like these different people would put up, like, pictures of the Pleiadians or the Syrians or the Lyrians or whoever, all these different beings, which there's tons and tons and tons. Like, we've got them living all around us. They're in the oceans. Octopuses are different beings and stuff. Like, dogs are different beings. They're all different beings. And so what was I going to say? So every time, whenever you see those pictures where they show that, they're always showing adults. They're always showing adults standing there. And, like, if they show the Galactic Federation, which, you know, those guys would be soldiers or whatever, but they're always adults and all these things. But that is what really is more like. It's not like a representation of just family. Like, before, our representation of humans would have been more of like that family unit, but now, as we're stepping into this other developed stage of ourselves, I see us more of standing like those people as adults in our little, like, our clothing thing will kind of change too. There's gonna be changes in our clothing, and it's not gonna be super elaborate like the 1800s or something. Like, we're not going to go back to that. And then plus, there's going to be we're going to be a lot more mindful about waste. And I don't know, it really is standing out to my head, like how everybody wears, like, these spacesuits or something. I don't know that we wear spacesuits, but there may be, like, just this certain kind of clothes that we wear that is, like, good for our environment or something. But then I also see it kind of like that's like your dress-up clothes. And then you have other clothes that you wear that are more flowy and cottony too. So I don't know. There's going to be definitely changes in our clothes, and there's going to be definitely changes in our units that we consider. It's not going to be so much like a family unit, but there will be family units, but it's going to be more of, and this could be a lot more further down the road, but it's going to be a lot because we're going to live so long, and we're going to have less babies being born, so it's going to be a huge amount of adults. And so we're going to be very, we're going to have a very, what is that? Like right now, how you would look at us kind of like a handicapped society. We're going to be very well-bodied. We're going to be we're going to have really good abilities, and we're going to be a lot more tuned into our abilities. Like, we will have a lot more with telepathy. Telepathy is going to become a big thing, and in talking through telepathy, like, that's going to really develop. People are going to get a lot more of this a handle on their minds. That's why I'm always saying, like, you know, really trying to ask yourself, where's that thought coming from? Why am I having that? Really get it part of your conversation. Because the more that you can develop the conversation and be in control of what's going on in your mind, the more that you will be able to use those abilities towards your telepathy and being able to communicate. And I'm telling you that I don't know what it is. Like to us, they always told us like, oh, well, there's psychic people, mediums, all these kinds of things. But like I fucking know shit. It's like it kind of reminds me of this guy who was doing these studies on the plants, and he was hooking onto these machines, and he was seeing that the plants knew what was going to happen before it happened. And you have to look up, I think David Wilcock was talking about this study. But there's other things, but this is a real study thing. And so, because I've seen a lot of videos on it, and so not just someone talking about it. I think I've seen David Wilcock talking about it, but I've seen other videos on it and stuff, so you can find it. But so he was a regular mad scientist who was doing weird shit, but he started noticing that the plants would start screaming because he had them on this vibration machine thing where it was making waves or something. And but they would go crazy right before he did something. Like they knew what was about to happen. And they would get real sad. Like they do not like it if you kill stuff. Like if he killed a fly or something, the plants would all start screaming. And so anyways, it's an interesting study. But the plants to know what's about to happen, that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm constantly know what's about to happen. And I think it's like a connection. It's just like this connecting into nature, connecting into this world. So, but you got to disconnect from all of your belief systems and stuff to connect more, to be like all plants can sense things and scream and stuff. So you got to tune into that part of you that is connected. And it's hard to tune into that when you're so focused on what everybody thinks of you. And so that's why you got to let go of that. And those are hard things to let go of, what everybody thinks of you, because you're trying to please everybody and trying to be the perfect person for other people. But you got to be the perfect person for yourself. That's the main thing, is learning how to love yourself. Because I was thinking of that yesterday. And I was thinking, man, so many people, they think it's like elusive. Like there's no way that they could ever get to that point of loving themselves. And I know that's why they go and get attached to other people if somebody's nice to them. Oh yeah, and the stuff with Gypsy, boy, that, oh my God, that whole thing. But there is people, who are speaking out of like, this is mental, you guys. Like this person literally, and I heard, hearing more of those videos of people talking like that, I heard more stuff like I didn't remember, or if I knew this, I didn't remember it. But the guy who she got to do the work for her is the reason that he did it is because she said she was pregnant and that her mom wouldn't let her go. And this poor kid who's like a 70 IQ, who's on the spectrum of some sort, that he thought that was the only solution. Gypsy was manipulating the shit out of him. Like she's got her mother's abilities on manipulation, and it's just like people just discard that. And then she's already, and somebody said that she's got $3 million. Somebody was saying she has $1 million, but they're like, no, she's got $3 million. She's just making all this money off of all this stuff. Like she's getting deals. I think they're trying to get her on a show or something. Like it's wild. But that's this part where this society wants to take us, like where our idols are, people who kill their mom and then get rich and get plastic surgery. Like it's a bizarre world. But that is where, you got to have your moral compass. And then for people who don't have it, there's all these other people speaking out about it. But I was thinking it's, when you really get to the point of loving yourself, you don't need everybody else to love you. You don't need anybody else to love you. You just love yourself. You just feel good inside yourself. You just feel good. You're not mad at yourself. You're not hiding yourself. You're just being real. You're being honest. And so you're going to feel better. Like hiding yourself and being dishonest and not being vulnerable and all that stuff is going to just make you feel bad about yourself. So anyways, we'll see how this plays out. What is this, Sunday? So Saturday was, this morning it was already still all videos talking about it. And I did see one news thing that did point the fingers towards that other group. I was like, that's where it's going to go. I'm sure they're going to sit there, because they already were going straight to Joe. Joe, what do you think about this? And he said something weird and walks off the stage. It's like, he's going to come back, because all his compadres are criminals. So it's going to come back. And then if you are anything like involved with any kind of Anon group or whatever, then like he's had like 50 attempts on him. Like they're constantly trying to do him in. And so that all this stuff has to come out. Like there's a group of people in charge and they want to keep control, even though they're already have been taken down. Like this is just the remnants. This is just I think a lot of the people who we are seeing are maybe like double agents or something, like Tucker and Megan, and I don't even know on all these different ones of all these different news stations, but the ones that are going to start telling on the media and telling on all these people are going to be the ones, because there's a certain group that wouldn't, I guess. Oh, and see, this was being shown too, because in the places like sports bars and stuff where they had the TVs going and they had the thing on, as soon as that situation happened, CNN shut it down. And so none of those people knew anything had even happened. So see how it has to be so outrageous so that people can be like, oh my God, why would they shut it down? Well, that's to show the manipulation by these certain news agencies. And they're trying to control people's minds and show them what they want them to see and then tell them what to think about it. So all of that has to be revealed. And so all these different things have to play out. So, just keep watching how it plays out. It's all about exposing. It's about us seeing the truth and revealing who the real criminals are, because that's what we got to do. Because we can't move forward with all these people in these mind traps. The only way humanity can move forward is for people to understand the world that they're in and to start changing how they approach it, how they approach life and stuff. I mean, it's going to happen. Like, there's nothing that, people need to worry about, but we all need to do the work. We all need to be like, well, it happens because we do it. It happens because we take a stand. It happens because we stand up for ourselves. It happens because we make changes for our lives. So these things occur, and it's already in the occurrence. We're already in the energy. It's already happening. So it's not anything that anybody needs to sit back and be scared of. And you have a huge amount of people, who think all sorts of bad things, but really this is going to be something really good. Like, this is going to be all good stuff. Whatever's going to be, and then all this revealing is going to turn everybody's eyes in the direction that they need to go. It's going to wake us all up. It's going to get us all on the same page. It's going to make huge change. The only thing is the disruption through all that, like, it would be just this real cool thing, but if that could just go and then we just win. But no, it's going to turn and go. But then that's when all the people are going to realize all the garbage they're carrying. Their trunk's too full. They've got too many storage buildings full of stuff. That's when people realize, like, fuck, I gotta let go of some shit. I've got to heal. I've got to change. And so that's why it's going to be this huge period of time of reflection, of healing. So once we get through that part, that's when the world is going to really take off. So, it just has its own pace. It has its own development stage, and wherever you are in that stage, how you're being affected is the things that you need to heal. So if you're way ahead in the awakening and find it so tedious and these people are all idiots and you should have woke up by now, then that is, you need to work on your judgment, your spiritual connection, of understanding how things work and why they work the way they work and all that stuff, because that is where you'll find peace. Because finding peace is what it's all about. And I swear to God, you find peace by loving yourself, by understanding what this place is, and just relax into it. Relax into the game and stop trying to fight it. And, you know, you can find peace. That's what I think. So just remember, through all this stuff going on, even when your fucking phone case gets chewed up, you got to make it a good day. you gotta let go of this small stuff. Let go of this shit that doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. And what does matter is you, and you healing and feeling good about yourself. And so that needs to be the focus. So just remember, this is all about learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and have a loving day, because it is up to you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. I made an hour.